said, we are going to be in your face, we are going to be on your asses, and we are going to make sure, you understand what democracy looks like. This ain't it. So let me tell you something, Mr. Trump. You gonna learn a few lessons from us.
Jasmine Crockett isn't holding back. She's calling out Trump for blatantly lying to Americans. Sure, that's nothing new, but the way she does it. Brutal. While Trump plays the victim, Crockett drags him through the mud, exposing every falsehood he's fed the public. She makes it clear this isn't about politics, it's about truth. And Trump? As expected, he's spiraling, launching into another incoherent rant just because someone dared to call him out. Grab your popcorn, this showdown is only getting started.
The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States, and if we don't wake up, we may not have a United States, because right now he has only been successful in being a divider in chief.
Jasmine Crockett doesn't just speak truth to power, she delivers it on a silver platter with a side of blazing hot sauce. When it comes to Donald Trump, there's no fluff, no sugarcoating, just raw, unfiltered truth, like a verbal Mike Tyson. One by one, she's dismantling his towering lies, and let's be real, that thing is shakier than a Jenga tower built by someone who just downed 5 espressos.
Yeah, I agree that there are problems in our communities, but usually it's some white supremacists on the other side, and he has yet to call them out. As it relates to him being a liar, I mean, that's just what it is. The problem is that we have people that are absolutely listening to him, and that is the scary part. Even those people that are in need in North Carolina or Georgia or Tennessee or whatever state, Florida, that they're in need, they literally are harming themselves.
From his endless claims of a rigged election, struck down by courts harder than a WWE takedown, to his baseless accusations against anyone who questions him, Trump's empire is built on misinformation. But Jasmine? She's the demolition crew, armed with facts, receipts, and the energy of 1,000 exasperated debate moderators, tearing down the nonsense he spewed for years.
Unfortunately, he decided that he wanted to talk about his clothes. Now, maybe this is because Trump never wanted to go serve his country, and right now the only service that he's giving to us is driving our country apart. But I'm sorry, when you're at war, you're not worried about your outfit. That is what we call a privilege.
If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. Now, let's talk about those speeches. Fiery is an understatement. Relentless? Absolutely. Jasmine Crockett is fact-checking Trump in real time, shutting down his misinformation before it even gets a chance to breathe. At this point, his lies are gasping for air like a fish on dry land. Trump loves throwing out insults, but with Jasmine on his case, he'd better focus on excuses, because she's leaving him nowhere to hide.
Well, they don't deserve anything. They're so unproductive. Let me tell you, the people that y'all keep putting in charge are the reason that we are unproductive, because they don't understand how to govern, and honestly, they don't even have a will to govern. And the fact that they are allowing somebody who basically is a shadow president to come out and tell them what to do, including Donald Trump, because listen, we know that Elon, as they have touted about how they need to get rid of the immigrants, let me be clear, Elon cannot become president of the United States because he is an immigrant.
Trump's playbook is as predictable as a rerun of The Apprentice: deny, distract, deflect. It's like watching a magician with only one trick. Now you see the truth, now, look. Hillary's emails. Every time he's called out, he shifts the narrative faster than a DJ switching tracks at a New York club. In his mind, he's always the victim, persecuted, unfairly treated, the most misunderstood billionaire in history. But Jasmine Crockett? She's having none of it. She's not just calling Trump out, she's dragging him like an overstuffed suitcase through the airport. She knows his whole routine: avoid accountability, gaslight the nation, and when in doubt, blame literally anyone else. Lost an election? Rigged. Indicted? Witch hunt. Caught lying? Fake news. At this point, calling out his nonsense is like playing Trump bingo.
Thought that it was okay to just tell the truth. Instead, we're pushing conspiracy theories, and some of them are killing people. It's the same thing that we have coming out of Doge. It's the reason that people are dying. It's the reason that farmers are losing their farms, because we continue to peddle conspiracy theories. It is time for us to say, Mr. President, guess what? Russia invaded Ukraine. Can we at least agree on that one?
But Jasmine Crockett isn't falling for the circus act. She's calling out how Trump has used the same tired script for years, yet somehow, people still buy into it like it's the latest iPhone release. Instead of addressing his actual actions like, say, trying to overturn a democratic election, he prefers to whine about being persecuted, rallying his supporters around his supposed suffering. Let's be honest, Trump plays the victim card so often, it's shocking he hasn't laminated it. But Crockett isn't playing nice. She's making it clear, this isn't about political bias or a difference of opinion. This is about facts, hard, undeniable, embarrassing facts. Trump has lied to the American people more times than we can count, doing it without even blinking. His strategy? Say something outrageous, repeat it until his base believes it, then claim media bias when fact-checked. It's political gaslighting at an Olympic level.
Our national secrets stored at Mar-a-Lago. People felt like that wasn't really a big deal. They wanted to compare it to what was going on with Joe Biden. We know that he was showing this to people that maybe weren't supposed to see our national security secrets. We know that he is consistently engaged in questionable deals as it relates to our emoluments clause when he was in the first go round. Next thing you know, his son-in-law was getting a lot of money from the Saudis as soon as they walked out.
At this point, watching Trump dodge accountability is like watching a cat avoid a bath, scrambling, claws out, yowling about how unfair it all is. The moment things get serious, he looks for an escape, and yet his followers eat it up, convinced he alone stands against the deep state, fake news, or whatever boogeyman he conjures up that day. But Jasmine Crockett is exposing the real game. Trump isn't some persecuted hero, he's a master manipulator who thrives on misinformation and fear. His entire political brand is built on grievance, and he knows exactly how to weaponize it. The problem? He's run this play so many times that even his most loyal fans are starting to notice the repetition. So while Trump continues his pity tour, Crockett is here to remind everyone that facts still matter, and no, yelling witch hunt doesn't make him innocent, especially when the cauldron is still smoking.
Very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here.
Jasmine Crockett is on a mission, and she's not holding back. She's coming for Trump, his enablers, and, honestly, anyone still out here believing the MyPillow guy's conspiracy theories. She's armed with receipts, facts, and a level of confidence that comes from knowing you're absolutely right. And when it comes to Trump's enablers? Oh, she's dragging them to the type, politicians who once pretended to have a spine, condemning Trump's nonsense when it was convenient. But the moment they realized they needed his base, they folded faster than a cheap lawn chair. One minute, they're clutching their pearls over his behavior, the next, they're at Mar-a-Lago, grinning like they just won a free trip to Disneyland. Crockett's not letting them slide with that flip-flopping nonsense. And Trump's response? Predictable outrage tantrum. It's like a rerun of a show that should have been canceled 3 seasons ago. He's firing off social media rants with the desperation of a man who just lost his Wi-Fi mid-Tucker Carlson clip, throwing out nicknames, playing the victim, and acting like the world is conspiring against him.
They giving me hell, honey.
Yeah, but you give it right back to them. A lot of them don't do that.
Absolutely. It's a must in this environment,
That's
though,
right.
Because they will steamroll right over you. And unfortunately, we see that ever since day one, baby, that pen been going and it ain't stopped. And it's steamrolling over all of our rights and our liberties and our freedoms and everything that we thought.
Does Jasmine Crockett care? Not even a little. She's handling Trump like your auntie handles that one cousin who still won't pay back the $20 he borrowed. She's armed with the truth and wielding it like a lightsaber, calling out hypocrisy, dismantling disinformation, and making sure Americans see through the illusion. Because at the end of the day, Trump's biggest trick isn't a border wall or tax cuts, it's convincing people he's a victim. Meanwhile, the GOP is in full-blown panic mode, scrambling to defend the indefensible. Some are sticking to the script, parroting the same tired witch hunt lines. Others are hoping if they stay quiet long enough, this whole mess will magically disappear. Spoiler alert, it won't. And then there's Fox News, desperately crafting the next excuse. Well, technically, lying isn't illegal if you believe it's true. At this point, Trump's entire strategy is just yelling louder and hoping no one notices the details. But Crockett? She's making sure the details are front and center. She's not just exposing Trump, she's exposing the entire system of enablers keeping him afloat.
And so to decide that we were going to cast judgment on what he was feeling as the president decided to get up there and lie, as we know he always does, and say that he had a mandate. We know that he did not run on this idea of cutting out Medicaid or cutting Social Security. In fact, every time we said it, the Republicans said that we were lying. Every time we said that they were looking to Project 2025, they said we were lying. And now we know that the liar in chief did exactly.
If history has taught us anything, it's this: the truth always wins. It might take time and have to wade through mountains of nonsense, but eventually, it comes out. And Jasmine Crockett is making sure it does, with receipts, humor, and absolutely zero patience for MAGA delusions. While some politicians treat Trump like an untouchable political deity, Crockett is out here dragging him like a broken suitcase at the airport. She's calling out his corruption, shredding his lies, and making it clear that just because he yells something, or types it in all caps at 3 a.m., doesn't make it true. And let's talk about her delivery. This woman does not hold back. She goes after Trump with the precision of a courtroom prosecutor and the sharp wit of a late-night comedian. Whether she's roasting his hypocrisy or fact-checking his latest delusion in real time, Crockett is proving she's not afraid of the so-called Teflon Don.
We think about the fact that he even tried to do his little tariff war with Mexico. Mexico and Texas, we share a very special relationship for a lot of different reasons. But one is because they are our biggest trade partner as well. So now we've got all of these farmers that are saying, hey, my farm workers are not showing up. It's not just the schools, the hospitals, and the religious institutions. It's actually everywhere.
Political analysts are taking notes, social media is eating it up, and Trump is probably sweating through his golf shirt. In an era where misinformation spreads faster than his legal fees, Jasmine Crockett's commitment to truth is a much-needed intervention. She's not just talking, she's making Trump and his cronies nervous. And maybe, just maybe, she's reminding America that no one, not even Trump, is above the truth. Trump's history of deception goes far beyond election lies. His administration was riddled with falsehoods, from the economy to public health. His mishandling of COVID-19 was filled with contradictions, misleading statements, and outright fabrications, misinformation that endangered lives when clarity was desperately needed. Beyond that, Crockett is exposing his financial lies. His claims of being a self-made billionaire? Debunked. Investigations have revealed his manipulated tax records, exaggerated wealth, and shady business dealings. She's making it clear, Trump's entire persona is built on deception. And the more he tries to outrun the truth, the faster it catches up with him.
His name, he's riveted to it.
No, and he's relying on the people that absolutely pulled it together.
Like J.D. Vance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So here's the deal. I mean, I think that there are those that just said, I want to do something different. And so we know that typically when people are feeling it, especially in the economy, they tend to just go the other way. The problem is that this wasn't the guy to fix anything. This is the guy that is the king of breaking things, as we can see.
As Jasmine Crockett continues dismantling Trump's falsehoods, she's also challenging the Republican Party to take a stand. She's calling out the hypocrisy of those who once condemned Trump's dishonesty but now fall in line to protect their political futures. She's exposing how fear of his influence has led many in the GOP to abandon the very principles they once claimed to uphold. In the age of social media, where misinformation spreads at lightning speed, Crockett's voice serves as a powerful counterbalance. Her ability to fact-check in real time and call out Trump's lies on public platforms ensures false narratives don't go unchallenged. She's proving that the fight for truth demands both vigilance and courage. Trump's response is predictable: name-calling, discrediting opponents, shifting blame. But this time, the walls are closing in. Investigations, lawsuits, and mounting evidence are chipping away at the myth he built around himself, and Crockett is making sure no one forgets it.
The Republicans, it's kind of like Trump. Like, Trump is not deciding that he's going to be beholden to all these people that gave all the little money that they probably didn't have to his campaign, that went out and decided to vote for him because they really believed in him. They believed the lies that he told when he said on day one he was going to end war, when he said on day one that he was going to reduce the price of food, that when he said on day one that he was going to give us a big, beautiful America, right? Like, they believe that.
Let's be honest, Trump's response to being called out is as predictable as the sun rising in the east. He'll probably call Jasmine Crockett a loser on Truth Social while misspelling at least 3 words. Maybe he'll throw in a classic witch hunt line, just for old time's sake. The man recycles talking points like he's getting paid per rerun. Crockett, on the other hand, is delivering a masterclass in political comedy, effortlessly turning Trump's nonsense into viral soundbites. It's like watching a stand-up comedian roast a heckler, except this heckler used to be president and still thinks he is. At the end of the day, Crockett's message is clear: Trump can run, but he can't hide from the truth. And if he tries, she'll chase him down with another mic drop moment. So buckle up, folks, this show is far from over.